welcome back. So today is Thursday and that means tips, tricks, and how-tos. So today what I'm going to go over is more of a how-to because I think a lot of us have equipment that we don't know how to use very well. And so what I want to go over today is really how to use the different modes in your camera. So our cameras all have a bunch of different modes available to us, but sometimes we don't know what they mean and how to actually utilize them. So today is the day that I want to go over that, and really what we're trying to do here is to work up to shooting manual mode, because ultimately we want to be able to shoot manual mode. But until then, let's start using some of the already preset things that our camera has available. So I'm going to be going from bottom to top. So basically I'm going to be going up and working into manual mode. So the first one is the little movie or recorder, or what it looks like. And so that's really to shoot video. The next one is the little man with the star. This is night portrait mode. So what that does is it's going to have a slow shutter speed and combine the flash for you. The next mode shows a picture of a little running man. This is called the sport mode. And the sport mode, it pre-programs a fast shutter speed for you. So if you're going to be shooting something that's moving quickly, you're going to want to use that. So say you have cars driving by, or you're shooting a marathon, or someone running, you're going to want to be using that mode. Then there's the flower. This is macro mode. So if you want to get up close and shoot something very close, and you want to get that detailed image of it, like shooting flowers, you're going to want to use this mode. Basically, it's setting a wide aperture for you to where it blurs the background and has a shallow depth of field. Then there's the mountains with the cloud, or it could just be mountains depending on your camera. So this is landscape mode. What it's going to do is it's going to set the aperture for your maximum depth of field, and it's going to automatically turn your flash off. Then there's the face. This is for portrait mode, and it's going to set a wide aperture for you. Then there's the square with a lightning bolt and an X through it. This is to where you can turn your flash off. Sometimes our cameras automatically want to use a flash. Say we're in full auto mode and the flash won't stop popping up, and you're like, I don't need a flash, it's bright, it's daylight out here. So then you can just change your mode to flash off, and everything else is still going to be auto, but you won't have that flash anymore. Then there's the empty box, and sometimes it's green. I think most of the time it's green actually, and so this is going to be your full auto. So the auto is going to decide everything for you. So basically what you can do is you can throw it on auto, and then you can just start taking pictures, and your camera will decide your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. Alright, so now let's start talking about getting into more manual modes. So the very first one is the P. So this is programmed auto. This is where your camera is going to pair your aperture and your shutter speed, but you can adjust them together. Then there's TV or S, depending on the camera that you. This is shutter priority mode. So basically what's going to happen is the shutter is the priority. So it's going to allow you to change the shutter speed, and your camera will adjust the aperture and the ISO together to create for a correct exposure. Then there's AV or A. depending on your camera. This is Aperture Priority mode. So this is where you're going to set the aperture of what you want, and your camera is going to adjust the shutter speed and the ISO to create the correct exposure. And then there's M. This is your full manual mode. So the M is where you're going to yourself decide what you want for your shutter, what you want for your aperture, and what you want for your ISO. This is where you're in full control of that camera and you're telling it what to do rather than it telling you what to do. And that's it. That's all the modes that are on your camera. So I hope this helped you guys out as far as knowing what your camera is and what those modes actually mean, all the different pictures on the dial. So anyways, play around with it. Let me know if you guys play around with it. I think, like I was saying, ultimately we want to get to shooting manual, but the aperture priority, shutter priority, and programmed mode, those are great ways to start learning how all of the different elements intertwine to where they all relate together to where you can actually get the correct exposure and really what you're looking for. So if you don't want to shoot in manual just yet, start shooting at an aperture priority and just play around with it and see what happens. Start shooting in shutter priority and play around with that and see what happens, and see how your camera adjusts the other two elements to create for the correct exposure. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share it with your friends so they can start learning photography too. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.